In this part 5, let's understand how the mark properties can be used to shape the line, how to encode these information in line chart. So just a quick review. So we looked at three things: color, size, and shape. You are going to see only color really makes a lot of sense for line. Size does not really make much sense. You will see some funny looking charts, and then shape is not really useful here. It's only useful in cases like a circle plot. Yeah, so let's get on to Tableau and then see how it works. So here is the same information, a year wise sum of salary, right? So by default Tableau plots a line chart to show us the trend. And now, so let's see how we can use these properties. As I said, the conventional use is to color the lines in different ways, which I don't really recommend playing out with. You have a few options to kind of put a dot to emphasize some of these things which are here. So that you can explore. Same with size also. You can just make the line a little bit thicker depending on how you want to show, but I recommend just play around with something more fun than wasting your time on this. So now let's come to the special properties. So first, color, right? So when we drop something like gender here, what do you expect will happen? So first, so 2011 will get 2 data points, right? So and then same with 2012. So each of those data points, so 2011, and then for female data point will connect with 2012 female data point, and so on. In effect, we are splitting the line into 2 different things. What is happening is very similar to the bar becoming a stacked bar. So when we had a bar and then we applied a gender on color, so it broke the bar into 2 and then it stacked them one on top of another so that both are visible. In the case of a line, there's no stacking happening. Without that, it would be visible, right? So let's see that. So I'm going to drop here. And then now you can see, let me turn on the text just for you to read and then focus on one item at a time. Now you can see for each of the years there is a different data point for female, different data point for male, and they are connected. Yeah, so this helps us to understand. And then there is no stacking business going on here, right? Because in a line chart we should be able to clearly see. So line chart using color to encode something in a line is quite useful. Only when you have a limited number of items. So when we have a lot of data points, lines do not really convey that much of information through the use of color. So always look for a balance. The best I would recommend is at best 5 to 7 values. So you pick a dimension which has around 5 to 7 values, then the colors would add more information and would make the chart actually be useful in conveying some additional information. Otherwise it becomes a lot of things that you cannot really differentiate. In case you do have a lot of lines and then you want to emphasize one of them, so you could use highlight. One of the nice things about Tableau is if I want to, for example, highlight only this item, this one which is running very all the way up to the top. If I want to highlight this item, so I can right click and then I can say basically make this kind of a highlighting permanent by clicking on this cryptic assign highlight colors to palette, right? So if I make this, then the chart permanently becomes like this. This is very nice, so if you have a lot of data points, let's say 20-30 things, but you want to highlight just 1 or 2 of them, this is a great way to do that in the form of a line chart. So let's go back. So that is as far as splitting the line, the use of dimension, right? So can we use the same measure, like another measure here, and what does it do? So it shades the points a little bit, high points get a bigger or a brighter color, which does not really convey much information, so it's not a big use for us. And the same thing happens with respect to size also. The dimensions don't make sense on size, so let's bring this to size, and then you see something funny going on here, right? So this is does not really convey that much of information. But you could think about using this. So there could be special cases where this could be helpful, right? So it's good to understand what the use is and then selectively bring them back to use when you want to convey information or when you want to emphasize or de-emphasize certain aspects of this, right? So line also has this property called path, which is a little bit advanced, so I'm not going to cover this here. So that's all with respect to line in terms of what we could do in terms of line, right? So we could break the line and use by using the color. So if we don't use the color, for example, if I do something like this, what happens? Then more and more things are getting added here, right? So and then to the column dimension, I could move some of it here also, which allows us to have, you know, each quarter across the year how it is changing. So some of these possibilities are always there, but in some cases having, for example, something like this here, have all the years in one and then quarter is differentiated by the use of colors, this could be good, right? So for example, I want to emphasize quarter one behaves in a certain way, so I could again highlight this alone and against the backdrop of all the other quarters. Yeah, so these are the uses. So you could use color, you could use highlighting of one specific color only. These are the two uses of shaping the line to convey additional information that is not possible in other tools.